I can see people coming in. This is good. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Fruit.
Grace.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Jordan.
Grace.
Good morning. Good morning, Tony.
Morning, Grace.
Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, Grace.
Good morning,
Grace.
Harry.
Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Kate.
Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Dara.
Good morning, Grace.
Lovely to see you all. Let me see. Good morning, Kenny. Good morning.
Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Amy.
Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Shirley.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, who have I missed? Have I missed anyone? Good morning, Ellie.
Good morning, Grace.
I think I missed you, Ellie. Have I said good morning, Shirley? Good morning, Shirley.
Morning.
Okay, I think nearly everyone. Good morning, Fairy.
Good morning, Grace.
Good morning. If I have missed you, could you say good morning to me, please? I think maybe I've managed to say good morning to everybody. Is Neil there? Is Kevin there? Has Kevin joined us today? Kevin?
Yes, I'm here.
Good, Kevin. That's good. Okay, I think we'll get started. I'm not sure that I've missed anyone this morning. So first, I would like to say a big thank you to all of you who sent me letters. I have read those letters and I have started to write some answers to your letters. So hopefully you will get those later today. All right, let's have a look at what we're going to look at today. Oh, share the screen. I keep forgetting to share my screen. This just won't do. Okay, here we go. So today we're going to be looking at Australian food. And I know that Jack has been working with you and you've been learning about some of our food. This one on the front is a pavlova. This one's been done a little bit differently because it's layers of pavlova. There's a layer of pavlova and pavlova and cream and the fruit on the top. And it says our national dessert. So it's well known as an Australian dessert. And it's meringue on the outside, very crisp and crunchy. And then it should be soft on the inside. It's very, very sweet. If you don't like sweets, you might not like pavlova. Okay, hello, good morning, Albert. I see you've come in. Okay, so let's just have a little, well, I'm sure you all remember that Hush had to eat some pavlova to be visible. Let's have a look at our next slide. Okay, so I wrote something about food in Australia to help us. And I'm just wondering, Sam, good morning, Eric. Sam, do you think you could help by reading some of this with me, please? Sam, could you unmute? Thank you, Sam. Oh, yes. I made a mistake on that that first word shouldn't have an N on the end of it. I must have been typing very quickly. It should just say Australia. I'll fix that later. Could you read for me, Sam? Australia?
Australia is a
diverse
country.
If you hold
Us
it,
people.
Sam, just hold it there for a moment. That word diverse means that there are lots of people from lots of different places have come to live in Australia. That's what it means when you see the word diverse. Not just one type of people, lots of different people. Diverse. And it probably comes from the word different, diverse. Okay, Sam, can you keep going, please?
Us people have come to Australia, then have
Brought
brought their food with them. First, the
British,
British, then other from another the world.
from around the world. Thank you, Sam.
Around the world.
Sam, could you just stop there for me? Well done. Others, so people have brought their food with them when they've come, and they've continued to eat those foods. Can we not write on the screen, please? Whoever's just written on the screen. Thank you. Jordan, could you help me, please? So, yes, Jordan, can you unmute?
I can read.
Yes, please. At my
local shops, I can get Italian,
Malay,
Malaysia,
yeah.
Thai, Mexican, and Indian meals.
Yeah, so I can go down. I could have on Monday night, I might have Italian. On Tuesday night, I could have Malaysian. So at my local shops, I can get all these types of food. Can you read one more sentence for me, please, Jordan?
There is a Chinese restaurant not far away and a French restaurant near BGS.
Yes, so thank you. Hold it there. So near the school, there is a French restaurant. Annan, thank you, Jordan. Annan, could you unmute, please, for me? Could you read what this says for me, Annan?
Good morning, Grace.
Good morning. We are. Could you read?
We are now from beef, wine, apples,
Beef, wine,
apples, honey,
honey,
sugar, and chocolate.
Okay, now I've been a bit naughty here. I've been a bit cheeky. I really like chocolate. And there is a company from South Australia, so from Adelaide, and they are called Hagues, and they make lovely, lovely chocolate. And they have a shop in, do you remember we were talking about the Block Arcade? Well, there is a Hagues chocolate shop in Melbourne in the Block Arcade. And whenever I go past this chocolate shop, it's very difficult for me not to buy something. Okay. Thank you, Annan. Ellie, could you read for me, please? Can you read on? Thank you, Annan. Ellie, unmute. Many
Melbournians love.
Now this is, I'm going to just slow you down there because that's a tricky word. Melburnians. Now that just means people who come from Melbourne. So many Melburnians
love coffee. Our food is
varied,
but some items have become
now this is a really tricky unique
to Australia.
So only Australian. Okay, they think of it only as Australian. Varied means lots of different types. Items just means things. Some things. Yep, some food, some items have become unique to Australia. Could you read that one?
Vegemite
Pavlova.
Pavlova.
Ignore this. Don't read this bit. Go to this word. Lambing.
Lamingtons. Of course. Bush
tucker
tucker is an
unique. Is that word again? Unique. Food. Okay, in a moment we're going to move on, but the reason I've got this in brackets, New Zealanders, people in New Zealand like to think that they invented the pavlova. There's a big argument between Australia and New Zealand. It's our pavlova, New Zealand. No, it's our pavlova. No, Australia says, it's our pavlova. And tucker is another word for food. Okay, in Australia we use that word tucker, bush tucker. Okay, great job everybody. Now I want you to sit back and watch a movie, a little short movie that Lisa's going to put on for us. Lisa, if you could put on that video for us, that would be great. Thank you.
This might look like an ordinary garden filled with ordinary plants, but those in the know will tell you it's more like a kitchen pantry filled with delicious foods just waiting to be cooked. And that's exactly what these guys plan on doing.
Jack! You know you can't eat that. It needs to be cooked first.
Ah, yeah, I knew that.
Well, this is our Indigenous edible garden. We have lots of indigenous plants that we like to use for cooking. We look after the plants with plants and plants. We also put mulch around to make the place look nice. We water the plants and take care of them. It's really fun to get your hands dirty.
So what is this?
This is a wargle greens. They're a type of spinach. They grow like a lot.
And we can't eat them?
You can, but you have to cook them first so you don't get sick.
Okay, well that's good to know. The garden also includes stacks of other native foods, like lemon-scented grass, wattle seed, and old man saltbush. And what can this be used for?
Soups and salads.
They're just some of the almost 6,500 different types of native foods or bush tucker our country has to offer. For the past 60,000 years, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have been growing and harvesting native plants, and not just for food. Some are used for healing, like arati, which can help ease cold and flu symptoms. Or some are used to make tools, like kumbunji, which can be weaved to make nets. But the plants in this garden are used for cooking. Right, so we've got our warrigal greens from the garden. What are we going to be making?
We're going to be making warrigal greens and fair triangles.
Yum. Do you want help cutting?
Yes, please.
Okay.
You have to do them very fine.
I will do them very finely. In the past few years, the bush tucker industry has really taken off, with things like Kakadu plum yogurt, bush apples, and goat's cheese coated in lemon myrtle and green ant crumb. Delish. Now a group of scientists from the University of Queensland reckon it's time Aussies embrace the native foods our country has to offer.
They got a big seed.
So they've been working with local Indigenous communities to try and boost the bush tucker industry in Australia and take it global.
But it means that we get to reinforce that information for ourselves and then share that passion and knowledge, not only with members of our family groups, but with the public as well, so that we can develop a combined appreciation of just how wealthy Australia is in terms of its native foods.
And on that note, I think it's time to eat.
Okay. All right, so that was an interesting video, seeing what native food we can get in Australia. That was an Indigenous edible garden. So native garden and things you can eat from the garden. And I rather like the look of the Kakadu plum yogurt. I think I might need to try that one day. Okay, let's have a look again. Let's go back to our presentation. And if you have a look on this sheet here, I have put some of the bush tucker. So there's the kakadu plums that was mentioned in the yogurt, kakadu plums. And this one here, wattle seeds. So from the wattle tree, we've got the seeds and they put them in ice cream. So, you know, you get vanilla ice cream is made from vanilla bean. Well, wattle seed ice cream, they use the wattle seeds. Okay, and there are other things there. These bogong moths are very important to some animals in the bush, so they survive. So the animals need these moths as well. Okay, let's just have a look up here. I'm going to ask someone to read. Let me see who we've got. I'm wondering. Ellie, would you like to read a bit for me, please? Up the top here, Aboriginal.
Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people found bush tucker or bush food in the environment. These plants, fruits, nuts, and seeds were eaten or used to make medicines.
Okay, could you hold it there, please? I'm just going to find someone else. Kevin, would you like to read this for me? Kevin?
I'm here.
Yes, Kevin, I see you. Would you be able to read from where I'm pointing? Aboriginal people.
Aboriginal people also
Fished,
and
also fished.
also fished and hunted animals such as kangaroo, goanna, and wallaby for meat.
Yeah, hold it there, Kevin.
Bush.
Kevin, just hold it there for a moment. And
Okay.
if they lived way up north, the Torres Strait Islanders, they may have hunted crocodile for food as well. And sometimes in restaurants here, you do see kangaroo meat on the menu. But we don't see goanna or wallaby, but you do see kangaroo meat sometimes. Okay. Jordan, did you want to say something? Ask me the question. Yes, Jordan? Okay. Eileen, what did you want to say?
Just want to read.
You want to read. Okay, I'll try to give you a chance to read. Okay, Kevin, I might let Jordan take over. Okay, Jordan, have a go. Bush tucker.
Bush tucker is now often used in other cooking in Australia and found on restaurant
menus.
Okay.
I'm just going to ask, thank you, Jordan. Eileen, can you read the last bit for me, please? It is...
Sure. It is worth nothing that these foods are not being eaten every day by everyone.
Yeah, I think we need to remember that I can't just go down the street and ask for a witchetty grub. It's not that simple. They're only available in some places. Some parts of Australia, these would be hard to get. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next slide and see what else I've prepared for you today. Great job reading. Well done. Okay, so this page here, I think we'll just concentrate for a moment on Anzac biscuits. And for homework, just so you know, for homework, I'm going to give you some recipes. Put your hand up if you like to cook. Who likes to cook? Hands up, your actual hand. Great, okay, some people like to cook. All right, you might like to do one of the recipes for homework if someone at home can help you. Okay, but let's have a look. So we have Anzac biscuits. Okay, so let's just have a read. I'll see if I can make this a bit bigger for you. Aha. Now, Let me have a look. Let me have someone who I haven't heard read yet. I'm just going to find someone that hasn't read yet. Dara, could you help me read this, please?
Teacher, I'm here.
Would you-
Home-baked biscuits sold to raise funds for First World War soldiers.
Okay, let's slow down. I love how hard you're trying. There are some really tricky words in this, Dara, so don't worry, they're tricky. Home-baked biscuits, well done, sold to raise funds. So people at home during the war made biscuits and they were sold to raise money. They wanted to get money to help the First World War soldiers. So during the war, these Anzac biscuits first came about. They probably had been making biscuits like this, but they decided to make them and sell them. And they also used to send them to the men who were fighting. And they didn't have eggs in them so that they would last a long time. If there was eggs in the biscuits, they would go off, they would go bad. So they didn't put any eggs in the biscuits. But let's have a look. So they became the First World War soldiers were known as Anzacs. And Dara, I'm just going to interrupt you for a moment more. ANZAC stands for New Zealand Army, and I'm going to let you try to find out what the C stands for. Okay, but it's to do with the Australian and New Zealand Army. Okay, oh, it's there in front of me. Goodness me, I missed it. It says Army Corps. There's the answer. That's what it stands for. So the biscuits made of all these things. Dara, would you like to read what's in the biscuits?
The biscuits made of rolled oats, sugar, flour, butter, golden
syrup,
and bicarbonate.
Bicarbonate of soda.
Were popular because they lasted well and didn't contain eggs, which were
rationed. Okay, so the other reason they didn't use eggs was because during the war there weren't many eggs around. Okay, and they had to be careful how many eggs they used in their cooking. And most recipes now contain coconut too. Thank you, Dara. That is really, really helpful. We might just move on a little bit further and see what else I have got. I just want to see what my next slide is. I can't remember what I've put next. Okay, let's go back. Okay, this sheet here shows you some of our celebrations. And it's times when we might eat some of these foods. We might not, but sometimes we do. Anzac Day, this is one to know because often people do have Anzac biscuits on Anzac Day. And I've circled that and I'm just wondering, let me see. Carrie, could you unmute? Thank you. Do you think you could read some of this for me? Anzac Day. Oh, I'm having trouble hearing you. I'm still having trouble hearing you. I think I'm going to have to go to fruit. Fruit. Yes. I'm sorry, Carrie, I can't hear you well. Fruit, could you have a go at reading some of this for me, please? Anzac Day.
I can read. It's a national public holiday and a time to remember Australians and New Zealanders who've lost their
lives
in conflict.
Conflicts, so battles.
Around the world.
Yes, and here we get up really early. We get up at dawn and we have services. So people, they meet and they remember the soldiers and they say prayers for them and they sing religious songs at war memorials around Australia. And it doesn't have, I don't think it's got the, oh, it has got the date, the 25th of April. So on the 25th of April, many Australians get up really, really early to remember the soldiers. And sometimes on that day, someone will eat an Anzac biscuit, maybe. Okay, so that's one of our celebrations. We have Australia Day here. We have National Sorry Day. We might come back to some of these in a moment, I think. There's one up here that is really an unusual one because most people in Australia don't celebrate this. Wattle Day. On the 1st of September. This was something that used to be a long time ago. It was celebrated. People wear green and gold because of the wattle. But I have never celebrated this. I don't know many people who have celebrated this. They've put it in my book because it's a very old celebration. But there are not many people who celebrate this anymore. Of course, we celebrate New Year and there's fireworks. And of course, we celebrate Boxing Day. We have a big cricket game. And there's the marathon with a big run. And there's a Festival of the Winds, which I don't know very much about because I've not been involved in that. Okay, we might move on to our next slide and get back to food, the yummy stuff. Okay, so for homework, if you would like to, you might be able to make some of these. I have given you the recipe, and if you want to, put up your hand if you think your mum or your dad or grandma or whoever's at home might help you make something. Oh, wow, wonderful.
My grandma can do.
Okay, well, great.
I can do.
Okay, Kevin, just for a minute. That's great. It would be lovely if you made some and took a photo of them to show me. This would be a wonderful piece of homework. Okay. And I've also given, there's at least 5 people. I've also.
Can you give this picture?
You can keep, you will get it in your homework. You will get it. The people who are working with you later will make sure you get this. Okay. And there is also a pavlova recipe. Okay. All right, let's have a look. And what did you want to say? Did you want to say something? Would you like to read? And then I think you've already read for me this morning, have you? Have you read already? Annan?
No.
Yes, do you mind if I just find someone else for a moment? Annan?
I only want to say my...
You think you only said a little bit?
My grandma can do it.
Oh, you wanted to say your grandma could help. That would be wonderful. Okay.
My dad and mom can't cook.
Oh dear, okay. Now who is this on the phone here? Who is this? I can't see who you are. Who's this on the phone?
It's
Michael,
Carrie.
Is that Carrie? Here? No, this one. Who's wearing a red shirt? Are you able to look over my shoulder, please? I'm just wondering who this is. So I'm going to see who this is. Who is this? Okay, I've got somebody I'm going to ask in a moment. Tony, could you help me, please?
Yes.
Okay, Tony. What does it say at the top?
Anzac
biscuits.
All right, somebody, Kevin, is that you? You need to go on mute. If I haven't asked you, you need to go on mute. Yes, Tony, Anzac biscuits. Okay, now we said a minute ago that it has oats and golden syrup is really difficult. You might not be able to get that. So I have written down here that you can make it with this. You could make honey, you could use honey instead. Okay, you could try it with honey. All right, would you like to read, Tony, choose any words out of there, any, and just tell me what you'd like to tell me. What can you see? I can see what?
I can see 1 cup rolled oats.
Okay, so we say rolled oats.
Rolled oats.
Yep, pretend that E isn't there. 1 cup rolled oats.
1 cup rolled oats.
4
4
tablespoons. That's short for tablespoon.
tablespoon golden syrup.
Syrup. Well done.
1
teaspoon. That's 1 teaspoon.
1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon.
Bicarbonate
of soda.
Yep. And you might have some in your house and it's just called baking soda.
Baking soda.
Yep. Keep going.
Okay, yeah.
1.
Yeah. 1 cup plain flour.
Yep.
4.
This is 3/4. Don't think it's 3 or 4. It's 3/4.
3/4 cup white sugar.
Imagine if we put in 4 cups. Oh dear. So 3/4 of a cup of white sugar. Yep. And then 1 cup.
1 cup
desiccated
coconut
unsweetened. Sometimes you get coconut and it's been sweetened. They add something to it to make it sweet. Okay. And then we need last ingredient.
115
grams. 150 grams.
Butter unsalted.
So sometimes butter is salted. So if you can get the unsalted butter, it wouldn't matter. If you use salted butter, that would be okay. All right. Okay. I'm wondering if I have, thank you. Great reading there, Tony. I'm wondering, Shirley, are you there? I can't see you properly. I can see, is that your hair? Shirley? No. Shirley? I think Shirley was sleeping. Shirley, can you unmute? Unmute, Shirley. Can you unmute? No? Okay, I'm going to move on to someone else, Shirley. We'll come back to you later. Okay. Fairy, can you unmute? Aha. Fairy, can you read some of what is written here? It says method. Can you just speak a little bit louder for me? Okay, so if we were going to make these biscuits, we have to preheat our oven. To
118.
Okay, somebody else is speaking. I'm listening to Shirley, 180 degrees. Or if you have a gas oven, it might be gas Mark 4. Can you read one more line for me? And then I'm going to ask Kenny in a moment. So, Shirley, can you keep going? Line. Okay, I'm going to ask Kenny to take over. Kenny, can you read on for me, please? Line. Kenny? Kenny, can you speak to me, please? Okay, maybe it's not Kenny. All right, 2 people have raised their hands. All right, let me find someone who's going to help me because Something's happened and we're going a lot slower. This isn't good. Jordan, you look ready. Can you unmute and can you help me, please, Jordan? Okay, line the baking tray.
Line baking tray with baking paper. Baking paper.
Now, can you see the baking paper underneath? Yep. Or you could just put some butter on it. Okay. Yep. Melt
the butter with the golden sugar rub.
Yeah, the golden syrup. Add
the baking soda.
Good.
Mix this into the dry
ingredients.
Roll into balls. Place balls 2.5 centimeters
apart.
Flatten and bake for 8 or 10 minutes. Allow to cool on rack.
And then once they've cooled on the rack, you can eat them and you can enjoy them. Okay. All right. Thank you for that reading, Jordan. Okay, I'm going to move on, folks. So here's a picture of some beautifully cooked Anzac biscuits. And let's see what else we've got. All right. Now, the other day, you and I were talking about lamingtons. And do you know the most amazing thing happened in New Zealand the other day? They tried to make a giant lamington. Now, I don't know. I don't think it looks as good as a lamington. Look at all the layers. I think it's a bit messy. I don't think it looks, I think it should be more this shape, not this shape. I would want it to be even bigger, to be a really good lamington shape, because usually a lamington is like a cube, usually. If you have a look, that's a much better shape, I think. But this has gone in the Guinness World Book of Records, the Guinness Book of Records, the largest lamington. It was made the other day in New Zealand. They broke the record, okay? So that's an interesting one. All right. And finally, I think I've made, oh no, I've got a couple more pictures. Put your hand up if you know what this is. Hands up, who knows? Australians are known.
Meat pie.
Yeah, well done everybody, a meat pie. Good job. And we love to eat these when we go to the football and we're watching the football and we can take it out of the bag and just eat it very easily. Okay. And then here I've put two more pictures. This one is billy tea. Okay. And when you're out in the bush and you use this thing, it's called a billy, and you put your tea in the billy and you boil it. Okay. Billy tea. Now, last week, you saw the boys on camp and they were making something. Do you remember seeing the boys on camp? And they were doing things with plants and leaves, but they also made some damper. Okay, and I have given you the recipe for damper as well. And if you wanted to, this is easy to make, very easy. You could try making damper to eat with some jam. Okay. All right. I think we might leave it there today, everybody. I don't think we need to go back and look at some of our festivals right now. Okay. All right. Who's feeling hungry?
I do.
Yeah, I feel hungry now. I wish I had some of those lovely things to eat. Okay. And I must say to you that we do get lots of Chinese food here. Sometimes we can go for yum cha, dim sum, noodles. Yeah. And my favorite are the dumplings. I love dumplings with the soup in them. What do you call the dumplings with soup? Yeah, no, but the dumplings with the soup inside them. I want to say they're called sangshay bao. That's not right. Sangshay bao? Is that right? Sansai bao? Sansai bao, my favorite. Sansai bao. All right. Now, I'm going to have to stop that sharing and come back to you. Yeah, my favorite is sangshay bao. I can't say that very well. All right. We have to go now, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed seeing about the food today.
Teacher, can I ask a question?
Yes, who is that asking?
Eileen.
Yes, Eileen.
We're talking about the recipe of the Anzac biscuit.
Yes.
But then it said we have to make our oven 180 degrees, but is it Celsius or Fahrenheit?
It's Celsius.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Okay, very good. I do hope someone's going to make them and you will love how they smell. They smell so good. Okay, all right. I'm going to have to leave now, everybody. Happy eating and baking. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Grace.
Goodbye, Grace.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Grace.
Bye, Grace.
Grace.